That line's here. Hi, guys. There's Betty and Sharma, Adeline and Jane. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. I'm just taking this last little bit here while people are still signing in to make up some of the bows we're going to use today. Get some glue on those so we don't have to wait for them. We'll have a few more, but you never know for sure. It is the holiday weekend. Welcome. Six watching now. Thank you to whoever left me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. There's Paula Davenport. Hello, Paula Davenport. Did you know, Paula Davenport, that the puzzle is done? Paula, the puzzle is done. We will send you a picture of the puzzle, less the 2 pieces that the dog ate. Yes, the dog ate some of my Christmas present. Paula Davenport is my sister-in-law. Oh, you did see a completed picture. Okay. Paula Davenport is my sister-in-law, whom I thought loved me, but she sent me for Christmas the most evil puzzle. It's a beautiful geode, and I don't know if you guys know this about me. I love rocks. I have always loved rocks. I collected rocks as a kid, and I still have my rock collection because I love rocks. I just think they're amazing and beautiful, and there's so many varieties, and you polish them up and you get amazing things. So I love rocks. It's a puzzle of a geode, which is great, but it had just 175 pieces. 4 people worked many hours. As of the time I went to bed, the puzzle was less than half finished, and we worked a good part of the afternoon yesterday on said puzzle. The reason it was so difficult is that it had very odd shaped pieces that would fit in the wrong places. They were all in similar colors, and they did not slide together, or they slid together, many of them, rather than connecting together. And
has no sides.
There were no sides, that's true. It had a rough border, so you couldn't necessarily tell what were slide-in pieces and what were edge pieces. It was a very evil puzzle, which Teddy obviously agreed with, because when 2 of them fell on the floor, Teddy ate them. We have the proof. He chewed the face off of one of the pieces, and the other piece is only half there. The other part of it is probably in the yard somewhere by now. Yes, so it was completed, but I thought my sister-in-law loved me. Clearly, she has hidden issues. I will say, I don't think you can see it there. Maybe you can raise the camera up just a little bit for a second so they can see this, the big camera. She also gave me this spectacular pendant, though, so she's forgiven any puzzle transgressions, because she made me this beautiful amethyst pendant and sent it to me because she knows I like purple. and it is something I truly, truly love and treasure. So, yes. So you are forgiven any puzzle transgressions. I love geodes too. Betty and Kim, yes, I'm with you, Katie. I love rocks. I love them. So, anyway, yes. So Teddy did what Teddy does. Teddy also chewed up my roll of tape. I'm down to the end of that roll now. And Teddy was doing what Teddy does. He's a puppy. Puppies are pesky. Anyway, yes. So we probably should get going here shortly. Let's see. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody had a nice day yesterday. We had a very quiet day, but it was nice. It was fun. It's since we were having a non-traditional Christmas, we kind of went non-traditional all the way and had a non-traditional Christmas food and non-traditional Christmas in almost every respect. And that was fun to just do totally different things. It was just the four of us, Bob and Bryce, Lauren, and I. Speaking of Bob, Bob gave me this beautiful purple sweater for Christmas. It's very, very soft and cuddly. Love it. I pre-tied my bows so you guys wouldn't have to wait on me. And yeah, instead of fixing a big Christmas feast like we would normally do, Lauren and her dad, Bryce, fixed a variety of appetizers during the day. And he fixed our kind of we traditionally have this wonderful breakfast casserole that Bryce fixes. And we had big breakfast casserole after we opened presents. And it's very protein rich, so you tend not to be hungry for quite a while after you have that. So then they fixed, let's see, they started with a fondue. Hello. Hi, Betty Goswell. Hi, Annette. They started with a fondue, and then they fixed some pot stickers and cheese ragoons and egg rolls and bagel bites. Hi, Mary R. Teddy is in the doghouse. Yes, he is. He is here and he's in the doghouse both. I don't know if you were here, Mary R., when we said that Teddy, being the little menace that he is, ate my Christmas present from Paula. He stole the last two pieces and ate them just to keep us from having the satisfaction of saying this pesky puzzle was done. And then let me show you what we're making today. Here's our first one. Hi, Betty McSorley. Here's our next one. It's a shaker. Here's our next one. It's also a shaker.
Get carried away with shakers?
I did, evidently, but I thought they were so pretty with shaker components in them. So we have two shakers today. And then we have this beautiful one of the dancing fairies. So that's what we're going to make. It's going to be fun. Okay. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. So you could say, welcome. Happy Christmas, everybody. Happy Christmas, everybody. Oh. Eddie's such a sweet boy when he's not eating my presents. He's such a sweet boy when he's not eating my presents. Yes, he is. Can you say hi, everybody? Yes. Yes, you remember our Bentley stories, Mary. Yes, you do. Oh, he's just perfectly satisfied just snuggling in here today. He's saying, yeah, okay, I'll just sit here and you pet me, Mom. You just pet me, Mom. You just hold me and pet me. Yeah, you just hold me and pet me a while. We probably need to do some work, though.
All right. Let's go see Grandpa.
Okay, you ready? Make the great escape. I think he's going to go to the house now. He has a variety of noisy toys out here, including a pop bottle. And so he will make his presence known on every front if he's allowed to stay. Let's talk about our supplies for the day. We are going to use from the Land of Enchantment. We're going to use the topper sheet, of course, from the Land of Enchantment. We're going to use, here's our first cardstock. Here's our second cardstock. Yes, I know these are going to be highly reflective, so they may be just a bit pesky to film, but we'll make it work. You are going to, your kits will include this time the insert papers to match. These inserts are so beautiful, guys. I should have showed you that in my cards, and I didn't. I'll show them to you as we go, though. You got this one. And we got this one. And we've got this one. So we've got the topper set and the matching inserts. Remember that normally the inserts are sold separately. We're going to have some acetate for your card windows. We are going to have 3 5x7 300 GSM cards, so those nice heavy ones. We're going to have 1 A4 300 GSM card. We are going to have, your kits will include 2 A6. I've got this one little one here because I'm going to use that up instead of a nice fresh piece of GSM or of Gold Mary. You're going to have a roll of shaker tape. I'm using up some odds and ends on my side. You're going to have some foam squares. You are going to need, this is, well, you're going to have some little packets of shaker components. You're going to also need some adhesives, primarily tape. You might use a little glue, but it's going to be primarily tape because we're working on Mary, and glue does not hold real well on Mary. If you have one available, you're also going to want your little embossing magic pillow. And that's it. Shall we get going here? Uh-oh. Mary said her German Shepherd ate her Birkenstocks. She should have known something was wrong because he got quiet. Yes, Teddy's the same. If he's not squeaking a toy, he's into something. Absolutely. Okay, let's see what I want to start on because it's the easiest. There really isn't an easier or lesser easy one here. So let's start with, I'll just start with the smallest one since we really can't start with the easiest one. They're all pretty easy, guys. Let's start with a European A6. We're going to pull that one. That's going to be the smallest one in your kit. Hi, Ruth Ann. Welcome, welcome. And we're going, oh, let's tear off this extra piece of tape here. Okay. Oh, you're going to use Amethyst Streams tonight. That's beautiful. That's a gorgeous kit. Nope, guys, it's not available anymore, but it is beautiful. There might be some odds and ends of it out there in the store. I'm not sure, but there's not much if there's any. I don't know if there's any. Beautiful. I'm looking for one of my Christmas card videos, and I noticed you were live. Wow. Well, I'm glad you joined us, Ruth Ann. It's awesome that we were here and available. Mary R7. Oh, pray tell, Mary, what's a 7? I'll bet you do have lots of them at the stream. It's purple after all. We definitely have that in common. Come on, Mary, tell me what a 7 is. I can hardly wait. For those of you who do not know, I gave these guys a numbering convention so they don't have to stop what they're doing and type a long message that says, yes, I'm tracking nicely, or no, I need some time. Oh, your lucky number. Excuse me, I'm not sick, just have a frog in my throat. Yeah, I gave these guys a numbering convention, and I said, number 1 means I'm tracking right with you. I'm working on the same kit. I'm tracking with you, and the pace is good for me. Number 2 was slow up, buy me some time. I got to catch up with you, or I'm having a problem. So I could re-explain. So this very simple numbering convention has become more complex as time has gone on. We've got number 3, which is I'm working on something entirely different. That's cool. I understand that. And now we have number 5, I'm eating my brownie. And number 7,
my lucky number.
My lucky number. And we have all these different numbers now. These guys like to harass me and give me a hard time. And I kind of love it. Okay, we're going to take this piece of cardstock right here. I'm going to set these others out of the way and give myself a little working room here. Hi, Karen. Welcome, welcome. Okay. And let's see. I am going to begin by looking at what else I've done with this piece of cardstock. Because I made this 5x7 using this corner of the card, and I made this card from here, I'm going to start by cutting this piece of cardstock in half. Okay? So I'm going to cut this at 5 7/8. Which is going to be fine, which will be the halfway point. Set this piece aside for the other card. Okay. Eating Christmas ham. So that's her 7 also. But I said 7 really is her lucky number. Okay, now that I've cut this in half, I'm going to cut it to, because my card is 4 1/8 inch wide, I'm going to cut this to 3 7/8 inches. And this piece right here is an extra that we can do something beautiful with another time. And I'm going to cut my width down to 5 5/8. I'm actually going to take the extra off the side because I like this little dancing fairy on the side here. So I'm going to take my extra off of this end. So I'm going to go to 5 5/8. Trim just a little bit off of there, and theoretically this should fit nicely, which it does. But before putting it down, I want to wrap this with a ribbon. So I'm going to get my ribbon out. Sorry if my number 7 offended any vegans, but I like pork.
Karen asked, did you make any tower cards yet, Debbie?
I have not yet made tower cards, Karen. In fact, I was doing last minute card making last night to get fairies and unicorns for next week done. So I have not tried tower cards yet. Have not made any cards otherwise for several days. I'm using my little blueberry bow maker. This is the smaller one of the two in the new ones. And I am making my bows at 4 and 5 on the little blueberry bow maker. So instead of a 5-1-5 on the little blueberry, it's going to be a 4-5-4. This is how we get these really beautiful bows, guys. I started with a length of ribbon because I want to have long tails to wrap around my card. Need nice sharp scissors for your ribbon. I'm going down through the hole. I'm bringing it back up the other side. Now, because I'm sending you this carnivore here, I just had leftover prime rib. Oh my. Oh, you guys had beautiful Christmas dinners. Yum. Okay. I want to make sure my shiny side is going to be on the top of the front, so I was careful when I put it through the bow maker. Either way, it looks nice. Even if it twists a little bit, you still get that kind of, it'll be a little bit more towards the blue side. Excuse me. It'll be a little bit more towards the blue side and it'll still look pretty. Okay, so I have tied my half knot, pulled this down tight. I'm going to slide it off my bow maker, and coming right off the bow maker, the way we're making them now, it already looks spectacular. So I'm going to lay this out, and I'm going to put my tape on the back. This is the red blue. This is what's going to be included in your kit. This is 1/2 inch, and before you go looking for it in the store, 1/2 inch is not out there. I only could get a few rolls of it, and I saved it for class kits. I do have 1/4 inch out there, and you will be able to get the 1/4 inch in this red blue woven iridescent, but the 1/2 inch isn't out there. Oh no, hubby can't swallow or eat. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry. Prime rib for several days. Sounds pretty good though. This ribbon is spectacular, I gotta say. And you can do the same thing. You will still get great results doing the same thing with the 1/4 inch. You might make an extra loop. You might make if you're using the regular bow maker. Oh, here, thank you. Bryce just passed me over a card where I did it with the 1/4 inch. You can see it still turns out beautiful with the 1/4 inch ribbon. Is that on camera good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, honey. That was great. Okay. So I'm putting tape on the back of my ribbon. This does not require best glue ever because the ribbon's going to hold it in place and it's tacking down from the back. So we don't have to wait for best glue ever to dry on this. We're just going to put our tape adhesive in there. Now, when you're putting this tape on ribbon, I recommend you tear it in the middle and pull it back, because otherwise it will try and lift at the ends when you try and lift the paper off the tape, and it will irritate you. So tear it in the middle and pull back both ways. Oh, yay! No, you do not have to use your gift certificate all at one time, I don't believe. Nope. I think your gift certificate will stay active. If you have any trouble at all with that, tell me. I've never been asked that question, but I don't believe you have to use it all at once. And if it gives you any trouble, let me know. I can post the balance as an account credit if it gives you any trouble, okay? So yeah, we can work around it, but I've never been asked that question, but I don't think you have to use it all at once. That was a nice gift from your friend. Tell your friend I said thank you. That's fun. Okay, so I'm wrapping my ribbon onto my card. Oops, the tape kind of separated a little bit here and it's showing, so I have to reposition it just a little. There we go. I'm putting my ribbon down on my card, wrapping the ends around. I also have a little polishing cloth here. You can use anything that's really soft. If you have a microfiber cloth, that's absolutely the best. But if you don't have one, just use something soft, old t-shirt material or something that won't be abrasive at all on your card. And I'm cleaning a little bit of the oil off my card. But I have that pretty ribbon wrapped around. Next, I'm just going to take... Actually, I think I'll go ahead and put my card face down. We're going to do this using some tape flags, guys.
Say hi to Brendan.
Hello, Brenda. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, friends. Good to see everybody out there. Hope everybody had a safe and happy Christmas. These kits are not yet up. Before you ask me, I will tell you that, well, I got the cards done. I did not get the kits done yet, but we'll get the kits done in the next couple days and up, so you can begin ordering the kits if you like. Okay, using my tape flags, you'll remember that when I use my tape flags, I put one piece of adhesive down one side, one down the other side. I expose just a little. I tape it something. Oh, it's little fibers off my ribbon. So I had little fibers off my ribbon there. So I exposed an inch of adhesive on either side, pulled my papers out to the side, and now I'm going to center this on my card. So since I only have a tiny bit of adhesive showing, I can move this around at will and not worry about having it so adhered that it tears up my paper when I move it. When I'm satisfied that I got it right where I want it, I'll hold it firmly with one hand and pull that tape flag, hold it firmly with the other, pull that tape flag. Now we're going to punch out our little tag from our adhesive sheet, or from our adhesive sheet, from our topper sheet. We're going to put on "May all your dreams come true" with the little dancing fairy. And I'm going to put some tape on that.
Van asked if you're going to get any more clock kits. She finally got her room cleaned up and now she wants a clock.
Yes, actually, I think I have a box here from Notions that will have the rice paper in it. The only question on my mind is whether I have the white paint back in yet. But yes, I will. So if they're not up in the next little bit, Ruth Ann, it may be that I'm just waiting for one of the kit components. But yes, we are going to have more of the clock kits in. Thank you for asking. Hi, Elsie. Okay, so here we go. Here's our first finished card, guys. There we go. That was easy, huh? They're all going to be easy. They're just beautiful, though. Are you ready to make our first shaker card? Let's do that. Let's go for this one. Let's do this shaker card right here. So we're going to get our piece of cardstock that has our beautiful floral border on it. Check. We're going to get our piece of adhesive, or our piece of acetate out. Well, you guys know I like to get as much as possible from my materials. So you're probably going to get a half a piece of acetate. You're going to wonder whether it's going to be wide enough for your window. And I'm telling you now, it is, even though it will not go side to side on the topper, it will be wide enough to seal good. So I'm going to pop out this big topper in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to use that. I'm going to grab one of my, just laid that on top of my wet bows, which are now sticky. I'm going to grab I'm going to get a 5x7 card. So I need my cardstock, my topper, a 5x7 card, and let's see. We're going to need another piece off my topper sheet. I always wonder if I should punch these out or leave them where I know where they are. But I'm going to punch it out. I'm going to get my little "There's Magic in the Air" topper out. And I've already cut my piece of it. Oh, there it is. There's my window. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's get our 3-piece topper set out, our frame. Excuse me. And we're going to take the outside edge off. We'll set aside the inside for a minute. I'm going to take some tape. And I'm going to put, now this is not the side that actually seals things, guys. Live dangerously. I'm going to run tape down both sides and across the top. Now, I'll show you a couple things here. Get this tape down. Oops. Okay. If I run my tape straight across the top, my adhesive part's gonna sag down under my frame a little bit because it's got this kind of concave here. I'm just gonna take my thumb and roll that tape right back up onto the frame itself, so it's not showing through my windows. So again, when I run my tape straight across, I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to roll that tape, the adhesive part, back up onto my frame. I'm going to take this piece off. I'm going to take this piece off. This is not the part that's actually sealing. This is just holding my window in place. So I'm going to lay this frame down, and now I'm going to lay my window on top of it such that my window is over that adhesive. I'm seeing a couple places here where there's little cutouts in the corners, and my adhesive went over the corners too. So I'm just rolling those back also. Just roll the tape back on itself. Just don't want it showing over the edges. And I'm going to position my window so that it just sits inside that tape line. And now I'm going to, not that you could see anything I just did since it's totally clear, but I'm going to cut around my adhesive. Why is that word on my mind today? I don't know. Every word that I'm uttering, every other word seems to be adhesive, no matter what it is. I don't know. Too much Christmas spirit. Huh?
Merry Christmas.
Hi, Diane. Welcome. And I'm going to cut around the top of my frame here. This is really easy cut here, guys, but it takes just a minute because I want to make sure my frame looks beautiful when I'm done. I'm going to take my scissors and cut around there. Okay, now I have a nice, beautiful, clear window in my hopper. Next, I'm going to get my shaker tape out, and I'm using up odds and ends of shaker tape here today. And sometimes you just have the ends of rolls you got to get rid of. Well, that's my job for today. Wow. A little core is falling out, tape everywhere. Now it's just time to make these rolls go away, but I'm too cheap to throw them away, so I have to use all these little pieces. This happens to be a pretty good size piece, but I got some little pieces in here too. Now this is the one that I want to seal really tight. So I'm going to put tape, across the top. I'm going to put tape down the side. Then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to reinforce my corners. This foam tape needs to be really well sealed. Your general objective when you're putting your foam tape down is to go as close as possible to the window without having it show through the window. You don't want the tape to show from the inside of your card, your foam tape, but this is what's actually sealing my packet, with my shaker components. So I'm going to want to make sure that this is sealed off really well. I started by putting in 4 pieces. Now I'm going to cut some little pieces of foam, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to reinforce my corners. I'm going to stick these right up into the corners and make sure I have a really good seal on my corners. I'll show you this when I'm finished here. We just want to make sure none of our shaker components. It's not too bad with the confetti and with the sequins that we're using today, but it can be really horrific if you have glitter or something in there and you don't get these sealed well. Because what you don't want to do is shake your shaker carton and have the little insides go everywhere. And I know I've said this before, so forgive me for saying it again, but we tear our easy tear tape or finger lift tape right off the edge of our card when we're using it. We absolutely want to do that. Do not do that with your shaker tape. Cut it with scissors. Because if you tear it, you make it skinny. And if it's skinny, it doesn't seal right. And if it doesn't seal right, you get confetti all over. Do you know how I know? Because we did it in class. And yeah. I tore mine, therefore everybody else tore theirs. We all shook our cards and we had, oh, such a mess. So that's the voice of experience speaking. Okay, here's what my foam tape looks like around the edges. You see that well? Huh? Can you see it at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to mess up our window. Now we got that nice, clear, beautiful window there. And we're going to take our embossing magic pillow and we're going to mess it up good. We're going to put some powder. We're going to run right along the edges of our tape. Do not expose your adhesive before you do this. Leave your tape, the paper on top of your foam tape in place while we do this part. What we're trying to do is deactivate the sticky along the edges of the inside. You know, when they manufacture and cut those foam rolls, you still have a bit of sticky on the edges of the rolls. We want to catch that, make that go away. Whoop! I just threw the whole thing on the floor. We want to catch that, make that go away. But see how foggy my window is now? Can you see that in the picture? How foggy my window is? That's okay. We want it to look that way. So let's work on our card. We'll come back to our window. All right. I'm going to fold my card in half, putting the valley side to the outside. I did not use any Mary board behind this. You know, I used very little extra Mary in most of these this time because it just doesn't need it. You'll notice we're not doing an awful lot of embellishment on these. They are such busy prints. They're beautiful and gorgeous, and the Mary finish is fabulous. But because you have a lot going on with the cardstock, you just don't want to do a lot of extra stuff to these. You want to keep your embellishments pretty simple because they'll look better in the long run. And we're going to, I put down 3 rows of tape on top of here. I'm going to peel my tape. Got a little extra piece there at the end. It didn't come off. There we go. I'm going to peel my tape. I'm going to line it up on the side of my cardstock. There we go. Beautiful. I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to cut around the outside of my card. Using my sharp long blade scissors. And an extra little lip on my card there that I just trimmed off as I went. Don't like the way that looks now though. So I think what I will do is trim that up just a little bit with my paper trimmer. As it looks, my front of my card looks just a little uneven. So I'm going to put that in my paper trimmer and just even it up. I just took that little tiny strip off. See, now I need to take a little tiny strip off the back too, since I took that off. I love my Caterpillar. When you can cut things like that, you know you got a good trimmer. Okay. We still have a tiny little snag. There we go. All right. There we go. My card face looks beautiful. I am going to put my topper down here. And I want to make sure that when I'm positioning my topper, it's going to look good. Now, I have not taken my tape off yet. All I'm doing is looking for the position I want for my card. I'm going to go somewhat centered, but I'm going to go a little higher a little higher than center, allowing room for my frame. Going a little higher than center because I have that bow that I want to put at the bottom. My tape or my inside and my outer frame left on this piece are trying to separate just a little bit. So while I'm taping it, I'm going to try to catch both pieces and just kind of reinforce that seam between the two. You know what I mean? This is just kind of coming up a little bit, and I don't want my shaker components to get underneath there. So I'm taking my tape and running it right along the seam between the two of them as much as I can to just make sure I catch both pieces. And I'll expose that adhesive underneath there, my tape. Peel off my shaker tape. Was Santa good to everybody? Santa was very good to me. He left a beautiful stocking. Isn't it nice when your children get old enough that they can begin to carry on traditions? Santa gave me a beautiful stocking. With some nice chocolates, which you guys know I like again now that the party is well in the rearview mirror. Hi, Thelma. Welcome, friend. Okay, I'm going to position this, as we said, just a little above center, allowing room for my frame. I'll show you where I'm putting it once I get it in place. And I'm taping this directly to the back. I would not want to put this on foam squares because it's inside the shaker. I'm going to check this. It's really kind of almost too late if I don't like the placement because I really taped that down good. But this is where I put that. Ooh, you got a caterpillar crop. Yay! That's a beautiful present. That's a beautiful present. Sometimes I find it easier to put my shaker components in and keep everything where I want them if I will open up the card at this point. Your shaker components will not be in this little vial. Yours will be in a little envelope if you get the kit. I chose white for this. We have this beautiful iridescent white, kind of chunky. It's almost like an extra chunky glitter. And I chose white because in this scene, when you can see it up close, these fairies are all flying and playing around a waterfall that has white coming down. So I thought that the white shaker would be particularly appropriate for this area, like it's foam from the river or something. And we're peeling our tape. Make sure you get all those little pieces, including your corner pieces, off, otherwise it won't seal. I talk a lot about it sealing, but it was a lot of confetti to clean up. And we were shaking the heck out of it, so it went everywhere. So make sure you that you've got it nice and clear and ready to seal down. Now we're going to put our frame in place. When we get it in place, we're going to push this down good all the way around. I got it a little off center, but I am not going to try and pull it up. I did get a little off though. You can see there. I will notice that nobody else would. And I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to shake it and shake it and shake it. What I'm doing is letting those little confettis that are inside there catch all the extra powder, knock it off my window. So now I have pretty little movement inside my window, but my window is clear.
Annette.
What's that?
Read Annette.
I was super blessed.
Which busts the theory if you really can't.
Okay, I have already pre-tied some of my bows and put my best glue ever on them. You can tell they're ready to use because there's no longer any white on them. The thing that trips some people up with best glue ever, it truly is a fabulous tool, but you have to wait for it to dry before you use it, which is totally counterintuitive, but it's exactly what you do with best glue ever. So I'm positioning my bow right at the bottom of my card. And I am going to get my little button topper, which says, "There is magic inside all of us." And I'm going to put that on the corner, on the upper right-hand corner of my card. So I'm going to put a few foam squares under that. Oh, you're on a box and bag making frenzy. Ooh, fun. Fun, fun, fun. Today's Boxing Day.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I was going to look that up again to remember what Boxing Day means. I always assumed because it was the day after Christmas that it had to do with boxing up all your Christmas stuff, but that's not what it means. It means something else. Somebody know? Siri will know. Hey Siri, what does Boxing Day mean?
Boxing Day means, in parts of the British Commonwealth, a public holiday celebrated on the first day, strictly the first weekday, after Christmas Day.
It's not the first weekday after Christmas.
Oh, maybe it is a Boxing Day. Boxing Day must be Monday then. Hey Siri, why do they celebrate Boxing Day?
Boxing Day is a holiday celebrated the day after Christmas Day, thus being the second day of Christmastide. It originated in the United Kingdom and is celebrated in a number of countries that previously formed part of the British Empire.
Okay. It's still not telling us why, though. Anybody out there know why? I read it once. Siri's not bringing it up for some reason. Hey Siri, why is Boxing Day celebrated?
Here's what I found from wikipedia.org. St. Stephen's Day or Boxing Day, or Offering Day as it is sometimes called, derives its name from the ancient practice of giving boxes of money at the midwinter holiday season to all those who had given good service throughout the year.
Clear as mud. Yes, my Siri has an Australian accent. Why? Because it's just really cool. So it originates from the practice of giving gifts, money, boxes of food, and things to your workers if they've done a good job for you through the year. And it's like their Christmas because the assumption was they were working for you on Christmas Day. So the day after Christmas is their Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Now I remember what it was. Okay, there we go. We are finished with this one, and it's a beautiful shaker. Look at all that pretty iridescent, chunky glitter stuff in there. Isn't that nice? So we finished that one. And it's pretty. Okay. We're on to number 3. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Let's stop and do that. And this one, I have in my sample, I have lined it. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's line this one. I'm going to use my piece of that's interesting, Kim. Okay, we are going to put one line of adhesive just on the right-hand side at the fold line. Then we're going to slide our liner paper in place. This works really well when the pattern that you want is just in the right position. I'm sure one of these won't be in the right position, and I can show you when you would also be cursing day when you have to clean up the mess that the boss left. Good point. Sometimes
Every day for Brittany.
yeah. You know what Brittany gave me for Christmas, guys? She gave me some chocolates and some potato chips, my favorite kinds, and a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi with a note on it that said, "I'm going to come and help you clean up the shop. But there's conditions, there's rules to this offer. Rule 1, you have to tell me in advance so I can take time off from my other job, a perfectly acceptable rule. Rule 2, you have to work with me, perfectly acceptable rule. Rule 3, I'll come and stay as long as you like, but I'm leaving at 6 o'clock. So, if you want to start at 6 in the morning, I'll be here for 12 hours to help you. If you are, there's my insert. If you are up at 6 and ready to go to work, we'll have a 12-hour day. If you get up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and come out, I'm going to work a 2-hour day. So it's your choice. Please plan accordingly." How smart is she? So there's my insert. Beautiful, beautiful. The inserts are actually included in this kit if you purchase the kits rather than the components from us. So if you buy the class kit for the work along class kit, you will get your inserts right in that kit. We did not insert our first one. Let's do that. I'm going to find the insert sheet that has all the little dancing fairies across the side. And I want to use this piece right here for my insert. But of course, but it won't, it's not in the right position just to put it in there like I just did that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the position I want. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim it careful. I'm going to hold it in place. Then I'm going to trim around it. There we go. Got to get it in place, and then I'm going to trim around it. Because you know me, I don't want to measure anything if I can help it. That was a really good gift, though. I think that's an excellent gift because I think I've said to you that my shop is totally out of control. It's totally out of control. My classroom is awful. Awful, awful, awful. So if Brittany will come and help me put it back together, that's a marvelous gift. Okay. What did I give Brittany? Bryson, I really wanted to show Brittany how much we appreciate her because she is fabulous. Not only is she a fabulous niece, she really goes above and beyond to keep me productive and keep things organized. And I may own the joint, but the truth is that she runs it kind of behind the scenes. And so Bryce and I gave her a very nice
Air fry toaster oven.
a what? Air fry toaster oven that toasts and it dehydrates and it just does all kinds of things. She'd been talking about buying one, so we went ahead and got her a really nice one because I wanted to just say, we see what you do and it matters. So that's what we got Brittany. It was a nice gift and she was really excited. She's single and lives alone, so she does a lot of reheating of, cooking ahead and reheating of things. And that really will be a good practical gift for her. So there we go. We're done with that one. Now we've got it inserted. And look how beautiful that looks when you put the matching insert in. Isn't that pretty? Oh, yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a perfectly even trade. If you saw how terrible my classroom is, you would know that is a really even trade helping me clean this up. Okay, let's see. Next up, let's do this one. Let's do this card right here. I love this card. We're going to get the other piece of, let's see, we're going to get the piece of cardstock that we used part of before. We're going to use this one. We're going to use a 5x7 card. We're going to use a piece of Gold Mary, just a piece, which yours will be probably a larger piece, but I'm using up a piece I had here. And we're going to use a couple things off our topper sheet. Here's our insert. We'll go ahead and put that where we can find it. Let's see. Oh, I want this topper right here. And we want this Have a Fantastic Birthday little button topper. And I think we're good. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cover our card. And we're going to want to use the part that has this beautiful fairy. She's like a fairy queen or something sitting there observing everybody. So we're going to use her.
Say goodnight to Adeline.
Adeline, good night. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you for the reminder to everybody to give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. You're the best. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I do love Brittany and Margie, Mary. They're just the best, aren't they? Man, those two, just jump in, take over. take on all kinds of extra responsibilities through the holidays. They're just the best. They're the best. Okay, peeling off my tape. You're going to have several nice pieces of cardstock left from these that you can do other lovely things with in the future. Okay, so I'm positioning my fairy queen against the right hand margin of my card, opposite the fold. Then I'm going to trim around my card. And I will have just the part I wanted. And come up here, trim around that. I have a beautifully faced card. Now, if I'd wanted to, I didn't ever really pay any attention, but this would have been pretty. But that's okay. I'm going to do it the way I did it on my card. You do have a really pretty border left here. I'd save that. That's beautiful. Okay, we're going to take a piece of this Miri that's about, it doesn't have to be exact, but about an inch, I'd say. About an inch on this piece of mirror board. And it's going to be 5 inches wide. So I'm going to cut a 1x5 piece of that mirror board. Then I'm going to take a piece of my ribbon. That is about 6 inches wide. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on the back of that. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin thanking Bruce for all he does. He gets a thank you for putting up with me. He gets a thank you for cheerfully, mostly cheerfully, supporting all these things I get him into. He may be a silent partner in this enterprise, but he is the best. This, what we're working with today is Hunkydory. It's called the Land of Enchantment, Karen. And we're doing the fairy set today. This ribbon is the 1/2 inch. You won't find it in the store. It's only in the class kits because I only got a little bit of it. But we do have this same color available in the 1/4 inch, and you can do the same things with the 1/4 inch if you're making up your own kits. So I'm just wrapping that ribbon around my 1 inch piece of gold mirror board. I'm going to put that up on some foam squares. I should have checked my measurements. That's pretty okay. I'm going to put that up on some foam squares, and I'm going to be using that on the top. I'm going to put this topper right here up on some foam squares. And what I want to make it look like is I want to make it look like she's looking at what's happening here. Okay? So I'm going to put some foam squares behind this. A smaller sheet here. I'll use these. Okay. I don't need an awful lot of foam squares on this piece because it's nice and wide and therefore strong. I'll put probably 6 or 7, probably maybe 1 in the middle, maybe even 2 in the middle. About every inch or so. We have this Land of Enchantment available in luxury sets as well as the individual topper sets, and now the class kits. If you want to get the class kits, I'm including the inserts in the class kits this time. The inserts are normally purchased separately. I'm going to put some foam squares on the back of this little piece. Everybody was saying thank you to you for all of your efforts to bring these classes, honey. There was a discussion about that while you were gone. I added for putting up with me and mostly cheerfully engaging in all the stuff I get you into. He just shook his head. Yes, she gets me into a lot of stuff. You couldn't see the head nod here and the eye roll, but yes, they were there. Hi, Katie. Hi, Miss Katie. Mom said you're there, so we'll give you a shout out. Katie, what do you think of these fairies? Do you think they're beautiful? These papers are amazing. They would be amazing imagery anyway when you add the mirror magic, you know, with the fact that they're actually printed right on mirror board. This imagery becomes pretty spectacular. Is the depth of the images when you look at them. Okay, so I'm going to put this about, I'm going to drop this down maybe 3/8 from the top. Okay. Then I'm going to put some foam squares on my little, this one says, have a fantastic birthday. And I'm going to put, oh, Karen Williams just went and gave her Siri an accent. And put a few foam squares on there, and then we'll put that right in the middle, hopefully. I have a bow already here. I know it's ready because it's dried to clear on the back, and I'm going to put it right below here. Now, if you wanted to, I thought about this, and I decided to go with this. But you could move this over and or maybe move this down and put the bow on top of the ribbon. I just kind of liked it below this time. I don't know why, because I like to do strange things sometimes. Good night, Elsie.
Hi to Kelly.
Katie says, hi, Debbie. Fairies are beautiful. She's working on panda diamond painting. Oh, fun. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you, friend. Okay, good night, Elsie. Thanks for stopping by. So this one's all done, guys. We need to insert it. And we actually have a very pretty insert of the same scene. Now, once again, it's on the wrong side for just putting it in and cutting around it. So I'm going to put it in, hold it where I want it. Move my tail out of the way so I don't cut my tail on my ribbon. I probably should have done this before I put the bow on, but hey. Now I could just measure this off to 5 by 7, but you know me. I don't measure things unless I have to. Flip this over. I've got my fairy queen right where I want her. I'm going to put a piece of tape here. And we will be done with 3 out of 4 cards, guys. Can you believe how fast these go? They're just beautiful. They're beautiful. Hopefully after the first of the year, we can get back to you guys working with me, because I'll have my kits out earlier, because as you know, that's one of my New Year's resolutions. Bryce is over there rolling his eyes at me and shaking his head like, yeah, like that's ever going to happen. But it is my resolution to try and get ahead of you and stay ahead of you. I do know what we're going to do. Bryce wants to do some work. I have to talk with him and figure out what our schedule's going to be for Mrs. Tiggywinkle, because it had been my plan to do her shortly after the first of the year. But he wants to do some screenshots and drop into our video as we go. So we're going to, I'm going to wait for Bryce to give me the alert that he's ready to do that. But we're going to, next week we're going to do unicorns. And I'll show you those cards at show and tell time. So here's our finished card. And isn't that beautiful with the insert inside? Oh, it's just, the inserts on this particular pack are just stunning. So we finished that one. We have one left to go. It's another shaker card. This time we had all these pretty little pink flowers surrounding the border, and we had all these little flowers on the ground. So I thought a shaker with little pink sequins would be particularly appropriate. We usually use confetti in that sequence, but I wanted to show you that the sequins can be beautiful too. And in a way, they're especially pretty because they almost look like little jewels in there when they move. So I wanted to show you the sequins can be great too. Okay, so what I'm using for this, oh, I just realized that's actually a little bit problematic.
They are asked Valentine's coming soon.
Yes, thank you for asking, because I meant to say that. Next week we're doing unicorns, and then the following week we're going to do that tattered lace Valentine kit that we talked about. So I'm going to get those cards done here shortly, and hopefully I'll have those for next Saturday to show you for show and tell. But the week after, we're going to do Valentine's. Margie is also working on her class for doing embroidery on paper. And so we have a number of really fun things coming up. I also want to do some winter scenery stamping. So I'm going to get the Thursday night class back to stamping soon. I think our embroidery on paper will probably be on a Thursday night, because Thursdays work better for Margie. So our embroidery on paper will probably be on a Thursday night. And then we're going to, following that, we are going to move back to stamping, and I want to do some scenery stamping and coloring with our, I had promised you that we're going to do some kits that have both the watercolor and alcohol markers. I've gotten some trial sets of those that will allow us to do some color blending and coloring with those. So that's what we're going to do. I'm trying to figure out why I have an extra topper. Maybe it was missing from my original sheet. Oh no, I think you guys are going to have an extra topper to use. I don't know why it's still here on my sheet, but it is. So you have leftover cardstock. So I'm going to let you guys create something using this. You have this leftover piece. So you can make something beautiful about this, and you can show us what you came up with. How's that? Now, when I did this card right here, we had that leftover piece of cardstock from one of our other kits. We have one we can use, and I will use this one because I still have this from this kit, but I thought this was beautiful as a background for this one. This one was taken from the leftover piece of cardstock we had from the one of the two that we'd already done. The
Dragon or
it was
wolves.
the wolves. Yeah, it was from the wolf set. We had a leftover beautiful piece of cardstock left from the wolf family set, and I used that as the background for this. Now, because this is not included in this kit, I'm going to, and because I've already used my leftover piece, I'm going to cover my card this time with this piece that we had from this kit. Okay? I hope I didn't just confuse you, but I did use a leftover piece to do that because I thought that looked beautiful, the scenery together with the scenery in that fairy set. And I told you before, I thought we'd use it, so don't toss it. But if you don't have that, you have this perfectly beautiful piece of, I don't know if it's roses or water lilies, but you have this really pretty piece left over where we took the border off earlier. The one thing we're going to have to do with this one is we're going to have to trim it down just a little because my card is just a little bit wider, which is okay. It's no big deal. I could use it sideways, but I'd rather use it right side up. So when I use it right side up, it means I have to trim it like 1/4 of an inch, which is fine. No, I have not posted the virtual Christmas cards yet, Mary, but I will make a point of getting those up. I'll do it this afternoon, okay? I'll get those up this afternoon. I meant to get them up and I just didn't. I took a couple days off and I just really did almost nothing for business. It was wonderful. But I will get those up for you. I apologize that I didn't get them done yet, but I will get them done today. And I think I have a couple recipes to post there too. I don't know if we have enough ugly stamp exchange cards to make it worth doing, or ugly stamp exchange people. I'll look and see how many we have. As I recall, we only had maybe 3 so far. So if it's not something you guys are really interested in doing, I do know that we went at that in a really busy time of year. So what we might do with that one is I may just hold and we do that a little bit later in the year when it's not such a busy time for everybody. Because we can always do the ugly stamp exchange. It's always something we could do. So yes, I'm excited about getting back to stamping, and we're going to do some landscape stamping, which is just really, really, really fun. Taking smaller images and putting them together to build scenery. It's really fun and it's really rewarding, and you guys won't believe how cool it is. So I have several different landscape ideas in mind for you, and I'm really excited about bringing that to you. Okay, it's time to build some shaker components. So let's do that. I'm going to pop off the outer piece of my border. This time I think I'll put the inside down first. Why? Just because I can. Now, this is going to be a tight fit. I just want to tell you. So you want to check this and make sure where you're putting it. Oh, great. Oh, Karen, nice job. Okay, let's see. All right. I'm going to put some tape on the back of here. While I'm doing this, I'm going to kind of use my tape to bond both of these pieces together like we did before. I'm going to catch the little ring around the outside and the image itself. So hopefully our shaker components can't disappear behind our topper. Rub my tape down just a little. Okay. Here we go. If I have any little bits of adhesive overlapping the corners, I'm going to push them back on themselves so we don't have any of our tape showing. Good, good, good. That looks good. Okay, got it all on there. I got my image all ready to go. I'm just going to be a little bit careful to make sure that I get this pretty well centered here, top to bottom, because it's going to be a tight fit for a frame. It will fit, but it's going to be a little bit of a tight fit there. Okay, I've got my window. I'm going to put some tape around my window. I'm going to get my acetate out. I've got a piece cut for that. And I'm going to get ready to put my clear piece in my frame. Remember, this is not the part that's sealing my cards, so I can go pretty quickly, and all I'm really needing to do is just hold my acetate onto the back of this one. So I don't have to be super precise here. I just don't want to have any... Hi, Ruth. Welcome. Welcome, friend. Okay. There we go. If you have any adhesive that's going to show, just roll it back with your finger. Keep it out of view. Now I'm going to put my acetate on here. It may not cover everything. It only needs to cover the opening, which it does. Then I'm going to quickly cut my acetate off. Just going to trim around the edges, trim out those little notches, go around it. And I'm going to have this nice, pretty, clean looking window. Window will be ready to go. So I got my acetate on the back of my window. Now I'm going to get my shaker tape out again. What did I do with that unwieldy roll I was working with? I fell in my garbage bin. Okay. I'm going to put on my 4 sides, coming as close as I can to the window without having it show through the window. This you can bend and mold this tape, so we're going to go around the little concave part of the window, come out to the edge and trim that off. Then I'm going to do all 4 sides and come back and put little spacers in the corner to really seal that off. I know I said the same thing last time, but it's really important. And up and around. You guys are going to like scenery stamping. You're really going to like it. If there's anybody out there who did not join our stamping class early on, but would like to join us now and wants to, wants to join in, we can always tell you what you would need to get in addition to what we're using for class that day. We have what we call our Apollo kits. And that is all of the things that we have accumulated during our stamping class. We're using those over and over again so that you don't have a huge batch of supplies to use each time, but we can get you, started building your Apollo set. I call it my Apollo set because, like Apollo 13, where they had to save the space capsule by using just what they had on board, when I design a project for the stamping group, I try to use as much as possible of what people have already purchased so that they don't have to purchase large lots of things for the class. We're pretty much adding a stamp set and maybe an ink pad or two or just a supplemental material, but we don't have a huge amount to buy each week. So that's kind of what we're doing. Once we get some of our basic Valentines done, we're going to start in our Saturday classes working on some flowers. We're going to start using we're going to start using some handmade flowers in our stuff, which means that I need to get you equipped with some flower dyes and some flower making techniques, and we're going to be rolling into some of that for the springtime. Did I answer your question, Diane McIntyre, about the Apollo kit? I only want to use what I've already provided to you. Mine is just a few little things that we purchase every week so I don't overwhelm you financially, because most of you who are stamping are also... Oh, Deborah, you know what I just did? I irritate myself sometimes. These are not as apt to stick, but I'm still going to kind of pounce the middle of my window. Do you know what I did, though? I took my paper off while I was talking, and I had not yet used my embossing magic. Don't do that. Use your embossing magic first so you can get clear up to those edges. But I did mess up my window a little bit to try and cut down the amount of static electricity. So I've messed up my window. Now I'm going to add my shaker components. And this time I'm using these really pretty little mini sequins. These are from Nouveau too, but they're little tiny. Some of the sequins are super small. Some of them are up to about, I'm going to say, not bigger than 6 millimeters. And I'm just putting a few in. I want them to look like little flower petals dropping in there. I'm going to go ahead and seal down my shaker. Run my finger all the way around it. It may be seem odd to do 2 shaker carts in one class, and it probably is. But these just felt like they wanted to have shaker elements in them, and I didn't want to use the I don't know what I didn't want to use a lot of embellishments on them. Yeah, so Diane, if you already have a lot of inks and stamping stuff, that's cool. You don't have to buy the Hunkydory ones, but each week you may be able to, we can make it possible for you just to get the stamps that we're using in our supplies. Or you can look at the project we've done and then determine if there's things you want. We can make just the image, just the stamps or whatever available too. So, yep, we got our pretty little shaker components in there. Next, we're going to put down our bow that already has adhesive on it as proof it's sticking to my paper, because I tossed paper on top of it, but it's just lightly sticking. I'm going to put that kind of kitty corner across the top of my card, and then I'm going to take this tag. This is not the right tag. Did I put the wrong one on the other one? Oh, I did. That's okay. I'm going to put the dancing fairy tag on here since I used the wrong tag on the other one. It doesn't matter. They're both beautiful. Hi, Ellen. Welcome. We're just finishing card 4, but you're here in time for show and tell. I've got a couple things to show you today. We'll be looking at, we'll line this card, and then we'll be looking at the unicorn cards for next week. And we will be looking at Bob's finished art that I did for his wall for Christmas. I thought you guys might like to see that since I showed you when it was in process. You have some nice pieces left over from this kit, including you have this beautiful piece here. And this must have popped out of my topper set when I was working. I'm probably going to find it here on the table when I was working on my samples. I did not make a card for this one, but you have this beautiful piece left here. Excuse me. And you have this beautiful card face here. So I'd like you guys to design a card and show us what you come up with out of your leftover pieces there. That'd be fun. I have this beautiful, really lovely insert piece left. And part of it is these same images of these fairies flying. And then there's also this pretty one of the fairy on the ground. I'm going to kind of cut the middle right out of this and use this piece. So I'm going to find myself the piece of the 5x7 I like the most out of this insert sheet. So I'm cutting the bottom off. I need to get this to 5 inches high. And I think this is going to work okay. I think I'll come down a little bit more, so I'm not chopping that fairy's head off. I'm just cutting out the piece I like the most, guys. I got to get it down to 7 inches wide. I'm kind of taking a piece right out of the middle. And I think this is what I chose to keep. And I just trimmed all these other pieces off, because why not? It's my last card. I do have some insert pieces left that could be used on the final design card you guys are going to do. I'm going to go ahead and glue this in here, or tape this in here, and then I'm going to... We'll take a look at our finished cards. I'll trim this down a little because I think it's still going to be a little bit wide, especially since I trimmed my card to start with. And I got the part I like the most out of my insert sheet. I took the part right out of the middle. I'm going to trim around my card just a little bit now. Beautiful. Here we go. Here's our shaker. Pretty pretty. Okay. I don't think no one crafts at midnight anyway. Debbie does. I'm not even sure she sleeps at night. He said we can get 4 A6 cards. Can we get A2 cards or A7 from a piece? You can get up to 2. Let's look at that. That's actually a really good question. You can get up to 2 5x7s from one piece. Let's look at that. I really like to use European A6 cards because I can get 4 cards from a sheet. But if you're using A2, they're going to be wide enough that you'll either need to use mirror board to kind of allow you to have images that are slightly smaller, which you absolutely can do. It probably, if you're using extra mirror board, you're probably cutting down your savings a little bit. Debbie is nocturnal. It is true. I am a nocturnal animal. You're probably cutting down your savings a little bit if you have to use mirror, but you don't actually have to use mirror. You can use cardstock and other stuff to kind of surround your images. The European A6 size, honey, Bryce, he's sleeping over there. Makes me feel so. Oh, may I please have a piece of cardstock from over there? I'm going to try and answer a question.
Stuff. Which one?
Yeah, one of those is good. Okay, so let's take a piece of cardstock here, and let's try and see if we can answer your question. So, if you are doing, let me see, I gotta find some 5x7s here. This is the European A6, and I want to show you what I mean. Okay, if I fold this in half, I'm going to have an A6, right? So theoretically, I should be able to put this down and get 2 of these, which would represent 1, 2, 3, 4 cards from a single sheet of cardstock. True? Yes. However, if I'm using an A2, what did I do with those extra cards? Moving off camera for a second here, guys, looking for my extra stack of card stuff. Here we go. Okay, here's some 5x7s. So let's look at what else we could get. Okay, that is true that Bryce is not nocturnal. Bryce is in bed by 10 p.m. every night. I could get a 5x7. I could get 2 European A6s. Depending on the pattern, I can get 2 5x7s from one sheet. Okay. So 5x7s work pretty well. Who crafts at 1 in the morning? I may be hours behind you, but I'm still crafting. In the middle of the night. I finished these cards about the cards for this week and next week about 3 a.m. this morning. Okay, so I can get 2 5x7s. Now let's take a look. Let me grab some, see if I got some A2s here. I don't use a lot of A2s, so I have to look and see what I've got. A2s. I think I have a few. But still A6. I'm not ignoring you guys, just looking for some A2s so I can answer questions. That's European A6. Well, I don't even think I have any A2s up here. Well, we'll have to pretend. We're gonna have to pretend with A2s because I don't have any A2s up here. I use mostly A6s because I can get so much more for them. A2 cards though are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This piece of paper right here is 8 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 long. So I'm going to have more width because the European A6 card is, this one is 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. So I'm going to have more room this way, but I'm going to have not quite enough room this way. Does that make sense? What I'm saying there? So you're going to be okay using this one, or again, we're pretending. You're going to be okay using this one, but you're going to have to surround those cards, your card faces. If you're using A2s, you're going to have to surround them with either cardstock or mirror board or something in order for your images to really maximize your cardstock. You're going to have to surround those because 4 1/4 and 4 1/4 is 8 1/2, and this is only 8 1/4 wide. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Excuse me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure I'm getting to the person who asks the question. Okay? Hopefully we got it. All right. Let's take a look at what we made today. We'll put that back with that sit, please. Let's take a look at what we made today. We made this one. And we put this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful insert inside it. Gorgeous. We made this one. And she's got a beautiful matching insert inside. We made this one. Oops, I got it ended upside down. We made this one, and it's got a beautiful matching insert. And we made this one. And it's got the beautiful dancing fairies inside. So we made 4 cards today. You have a 5th bonus card to work on. Now let's take a look at what's coming up for show and tell. Next week, we're going to do unicorn cards. Let's out of the way. We will have this one made on one of our inverse easel cards. It opens up, and once again in here I chose to use, because I had it available, I used that extra insert sheet we had left over from the wolf cards inside this one. Although I do believe there's enough insert paper to use any that you want to use from the set. made this one. I think this is just spectacular. How sweet is that? And it is just so pretty. So simple. I mean, they just don't get much more simple than this card, but it's beautiful. We're going to make a gatefold card, an A6 gatefold. And I had a nice piece of insert paper here, so I pieced my paper inside this one to really show off that scene. Isn't that pretty?
Mhm.
I love DL cards. So you get this one in your... Okay, so we actually have 3 specialty cards. We have this inverse, we have the gatefold, and then you're gonna have, yes, next week we have one too. You're gonna have a shaker card with these super sweet. Look at the color of this shaker material. Isn't that beautiful? And this is the one with the horse family or the unicorn family. So we have 4 cards next week. This kit will be up this week so that you can get these hopefully in time to work together next week if you'd like to. Do I have a favorite from this collection? Man, that's tough. Because I enjoyed all of them individually. If I had to pick, I've done these before because they did the Unicorn Utopia. Otherwise, it might be these, but I did the full Unicorn Utopia once before, so I probably wouldn't choose this. I really, really loved the wolf cards, but I'd never seen, Hunkydory has never done a dragon before that I've seen. So I'm going to say the dragon cards were my favorite just because I had never done dragons before, and I thought that was great fun. And I thought that appeals to a whole different audience, which I appreciate that Hunkydory did. They're great for masculine cards, and it kind of brings in another group, you know what I mean, with the wolves and the dragons. We kind of appeal to a wider clientele, and I love that they did that. But I love the way these cards turned out. I had great fun making them. They're beautiful. And they're going to be really fun to make next week. So hopefully I'll have these kits out for you in a few days. I got to just sit down and price out the kits and get going on that. One more show and tell item today. I wanted to show you how Bob's Christmas present turned out. They were hanging them, and I said, "Can I borrow them? You'll get the nails in the wall. You'll know where to put them, but can I borrow them?" Can you see good that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a good view?
You can tip it up a little bit more.
Well, I could, but it's heavy, and I can't do it. Maybe I can lean into it, huh? How's that?
Now you're too far back.
How's that? Huh? I gotta prop it up on me.
There you go. I got it.
Okay, here's this wolf. This is done using the full sheets of rice paper and our glitter and glaze techniques. Bob was really, really enthralled with the, there we go, with the glitter and glaze technique that we did. He loved the way that the bear and the eagle and the fox turned out. So that's why I decided to do these for him. So here's our polar bear. I hope you can see the glitter in these because they're just beautiful. Can you see it glittering at all in your camera view, honey?
Not so much.
Not so much.
Okay.
Get this. They're heavy with the frames on.
Might be a little...
Can you catch that at all? Okay. and this one. I just wanted to show these to you because I thought you guys might appreciate seeing what else you can do using that technique, because they just turned out so beautiful. And I think you'll be tickled to have him in his room. So these images are available in the store. I used the full sheets, the new full sheets of adhesive. And I can tell you that even though the new packaging on the UU brand, the JEJE brand, did not say heat resistant, they didn't bubble at all when I was using them, even with the full sheets of adhesive. I got just a little bit of a stretch in my adhesive because I was exposing the entire sheet at once. I got just a little bit of stretch in my adhesive, in my tape. But once I got my glitter and my glaze on them, they turned out beautiful. Yes, he got them for Christmas yesterday, and he liked them. He liked them very much. I think he was pleased that I would make something just for him. So that was Bob's Christmas that I had shown you while I was working on it. So I wanted to show you the finished results. They were fun. Okay, so I think that's it for today. If you haven't already given us the thumbs up, please do that. It's my way of, it's kind of my attaboy. I watch those thumbs up and they make me feel very good. And it also helps our YouTube statistics, and YouTube, one of their gauges is, viewer satisfaction when they're determining whether to recommend our videos to other people. So it helps us build our viewership. So I appreciate it when you give me a thumbs up. And unless there's any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, anybody?
Good night, good night, good night.
We do not have class on next Thursday because Thursday night is New Year's Eve. But we will be back next Saturday to do unicorns. And with that, I'm going to say good night, Gracie. Thanks for sharing on Pinterest, Mary R. See you next week.